All right, so can I be honest real quick about Tyler the Creator's music? Chromacopia album just came out. I think it's a fine album, but honestly, I think it's an album that's going to be best on its first listen. The Tyler the Creator albums, the way he does his albums, he kind of hides the features. He has a different production, beat switches, a lot of things going on in the music. That first listen, for me at least, I'm only speaking for myself. That first listen of his album is going to be the best listen. It's an experience. I like what he did with the listening party there in LA. And I like that he's an album artist, that he focuses really intently on his albums. Like, it's a big deal for him. And we need more of that. But I have just, like, Tyler's music has never really connected for me. And just for comparison's sake, my favorite rapper is Kendrick Lamar. Second favorite, Lupe Fiasco. Jay-Z's up there. Tupac's up there. In one way or another, these are rappers that I can relate to. Not Jay-Z so much. Jay-Z just has like amazing bars. But I also feel like Chromacopia, right? I can appreciate the content, the subject matter, but Tyler is just a rapper who I don't relate to at all, which is weird because me and Tyler the Creator are around the same age. Tyler the Creator's older than me, but we're like in the same age cohort. We're both from LA. But I don't relate to anything in his music. Even his earlier music like Bastard and Goblin, which are like really full of teen angst, and even those early Odd Future mixtapes, full of teen angst. There's like this hatred or this disdain that he has of his parents that he puts out there. And again, that's just something I don't relate to. I was a teen like everyone else was a teen. I wasn't that same type of angsty teen. Although I did find it funny. I did find his music funny, that part of his music funny. And then later in Tyler the Creator's career, as he progressed, which I also give him credit for, in terms of artist progression, Tyler has just turned into a very, very good rapper, producer, director, like from the clothing to the image, like he's constantly progressed, right? So I can give him that. But in Tyler's later albums, like Flower Boy, there's this conflict that he has of coming out as a person and really being able to be fully himself. Again, this is something I just also cannot relate to. I've never felt like I needed to hide parts of myself, even though I have a lot of unpopular opinions. I have unpopular fashion choices. Similar to that of Tyler, which is strange why I don't relate to him, because I'm sure Tyler was into things, certain movies, music growing up that didn't fit into the Black experience that was outside of it. So you're looked at as weird, especially when you're younger. And I was also the same way, but I just never felt like I needed to come out as a person or that I couldn't be myself. So that's just, I'm not saying Tyler's wrong for this. I'm just saying why I don't relate to him and his music. And on the album Igor, there's this thing about love, which I can relate to. So Igor, I actually did enjoy. But then the Igor and the Chromacopia album, more so Chromacopia, it has this thing with the production. Like, there's a lot going on Chromacopia in terms of production. So damn big, I need a diaper and a sipping cup. There are songs that I like Darling I. I drive my Beamer in the summer when I'm ready to drift. La Ferrari handle better and it's pretty. And I like kind of like that whole pocket of that album, like a little 3-4 song stretch. But for a large part of that album just feels, especially the first 3-4 tracks, feels very overstimulating. I was listening to that album and I felt like I had to take a break, like around track 8 or 9. And I felt like this is not an album I can listen to all the way through. Now, you, the listener, you may like that type of beats. You may like all the different stuff going on in the production. I personally don't find that appealing. I find that it doesn't have replay value for me. It doesn't musically sound good to me. And Tyler kind of has that in his music since the beginning. Like, he's had variety in his production, but there's always like this aggressive, like almost industrial, experimental type side to his music, which I've never enjoyed. And again, I've been following Odd Future since 2010 when Odd Future came on my radar. And even thinking about back towards Odd Future, I didn't really become an Odd Future supporter until I heard Frank Ocean's Nostalgia Ultra mixtape. That was the first music that I heard by Odd Future that I was like, okay, this is legitimately good. Like, this isn't shock value. This isn't like, rapping about grape and all this other stuff just for laughs and giggles. And that's when I started to take Odd Future seriously. That was the Nostalgia Ultra mixtape. Now I had heard Odd Future music before that, but that Frank Ocean, that Nostalgia Ultra, that's when I was like, okay, let me go back and hear these other Odd Future albums differently. The Earl mixtape, the Tyler the Creator Bastard mixtape. Even when I think back to like the Odd Future group tracks where they're all rapping on it, even back when Casey Veggies was a part of Odd Future, back when Vince Staples was an affiliate, I just never was a huge fan of Tyler the Creator's rapping. And you can go watch my Call Me If You Get Lost album review. It's pretty long, but if you're willing to sit through it, I think I make my best critique of Tyler the Creator's music in that album review. I'm just never been a fan of his rapping like that. Even on the track Oldie, which is a posse cut, it's like featuring everyone in Odd Future. I skipped Tyler's verse. Obviously, everyone wants to fast forward to the end to that Earl Sweatshirt verse, but I actively don't want to listen to Tyler's verse. Tyler is one of those artists whose interviews and his personality I like more than his music. No matter how much I give his music a chance, I just don't like his music like that. I don't even really like his beats like that. I don't really like his production like that, to be completely honest. Now, I do appreciate, though, he has his own style. Like when you hear a beat, you can tell it's Tyler the Creator. You know, there's certain chords, there's certain synths that he uses. Excuse me, I'm not a producer. I don't know the exact terminology for these sounds that he uses, but he has a distinct style and sound, which I also appreciate. Tyler's music, his rapping especially. My favorite Tyler song is Boredom, which is off the Flower Boy album. And a huge reason I like that song is probably because of the vocal layering, which I think Tyler is good at. He does it on Igor. He does it on the Chromakopia album, where he's layering vocals, rather, harmonizing, being melodic, whether it's for himself or for a feature. I like that part of him. And then he throws chords and he layers the vocals amongst the production. And that's like the directing side of Tyler that I like. But as far as just rapping, I've never been a huge fan. And you'll also notice that Boredom is a very calm, chill song. Whereas Chromakopia has these super upbeat type songs, which I don't like those beats from Tyler. And I don't like, if you watch my Call Me If You Get Lost review, I don't really like when Tyler raps aggressively. I don't like his braggadocio raps. I don't like his hype songs where he's more higher BPM, more energy. I don't like that from Tyler, personally. And even what did I say my favorite song on Chromakopia was? I said my favorite song on Chromakopia was Darling I, and that little pocket around that song. There's like a 3-4 song stretch around Darling I that I like. And that's the most laid back part of the album. The rest of it is very, sticky, Saint Chroma. It's all very just hectic, which I don't like that side of Tyler. Even Tyler's freestyle with A$AP Rocky over that knock, 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 stop knocking, that beat. I ain't playing games, but got some little niggas who would do it, so I pass the controller. I like that a little more. It's more laid back, chilling. Even though it's braggadocio Tyler, I like the style. I like it, musically, stylistically. So yeah, man, that's how I feel about Tyler's music. Again, just to recap, he's one of those artists whose interviews and his personality I like more than their actual music. I think he's great for the rap game, though. This is a guy producing, directing, writing his own albums, and he's an album artist. And those are my type of rappers. Album artists. Give us a great album. He cares about his work. He cares about his music. And we need more of that. But personally, I know people were asking me for the Chromakopia review. It's just, trust me, if I review that album, it's not going to be worth it. If I react to it, it's not going to be worth it. When I listened to Chromakopia the first time through, I just began to realize that, for me at least, and maybe for you also, Tyler the Creator, his albums are the best on the first listen. But as far as me going back and replaying this stuff, a couple of songs, I'd take a couple of songs off each album, but the whole album, or feeling the need to go listen to this again, I just don't, personally. Tyler the Creator has never made that album for me, where I feel like front to back, I'm rocking with this whole thing. I think the closest he's come is maybe Flower Boy or Goblin. I need to listen to Cherry Bomb again, because I sometimes forget what that sounds like. Because again, I just don't re-listen to his music like that, his whole albums in totality. So anyways, that's all I got to say about that. How did y'all feel about Chromakopia? You love Tyler. I know there's a lot of people who love Tyler, the Creator's music. They relate to it. There's people out there who actually relate to his music. You know, that early teen angst to the growth that we now see on the Chromakopia album. There's people who can relate with that whole train. Like kind of how I relate to Kendrick from the Kendrick Lamar EP to the OD to the Section 80 to the Good Kid, Mad City to the Mr. Morale to now. I know there are people who feel that way about Tyler, and he has a lot of passionate fans. I mean, you guys remember his set at the Pop Out show?
Let's vibe.
Tyler, the Creator was like he had a bigger pop than Kendrick. Low-key, I think when Tyler, the Creator came out and did Earthquake, he had the biggest reaction of the night.
Say what?
The reaction was bigger than when Kendrick came out and performed Euphoria, if not equal. Bigger, if not equal. So anyways, that's all I got for today. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Top5rapwebsite.com. Peace.